Hi guys, so Ian Blackford, the leader of the SNP in the House of Commons, clashed with Boris Johnson over trade deals, tariffs and farming. Now, Boris Johnson seems to be siding with one group of Brexiteers. Brexiteers are split at the moment, but one group of Brexiteers who want to eliminate tariffs on goods coming from Australia and New Zealand, while other Brexiteers want to have those tariffs maintained. Now, tariffs, of course, are there to protect a domestic industry. If UK companies or countries that are exporting to the UK are able to operate on a zero tariff basis, it means that they're able to flood the market basically with cheap products. This, of course, is concerning and damaging to domestic industries. So Boris Johnson seems to be on the side of zero tariffs in a trade deal with other countries around the world. Now, Brexit has already caused a significant amount of damage, and it continues to cause an amount of damage to the UK meat industry. This is from the grocer. UK meat industry facing up to £120 million in extra Brexit costs. So this industry is already suffering. Boris Johnson's response to most of this is, don't worry, these trade deals will help us export more beef around the world. But the problem with that is that most of the market is in the EU. You can see here, this is from Statistica. I'll leave a link to all of this in the description of the video. But Ireland and the Netherlands are the biggest markets for UK beef. So where are you going to find these other markets? But let's hear what went down.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and can I thank the Prime Minister for his comments on the Ballymurphy inquest. Mr. Speaker, as a member of Scotland's crofting community, I understand just how disastrous a Brexit trade deal with Australia, as proposed by this Tory government, be for Scotland's farming and crofting sectors. If reports of this Tory deal are true, farmers will lose their livelihoods, rural businesses will collapse, and ultimately families will be driven off the land. And let's be very clear, if that happens, this UK Tory government will be solely responsible. So just for once, Prime Minister, give a straight answer to these farming and crofting families who are living with this threat. Can the Prime Minister categorically rule out that his government is prepared to sign up to a trade deal that will at any future point guarantee tariff-free access to Australian lamb and beef? Yes or no?
Minister.
So, once again, as I said, the tariffs are there to protect the domestic industry. And Ian Blackford is concerned about his industry and the industry of his constituents. If you sign up to a zero tariff trade deal, you're going to basically end these industries in Scotland. Because you have to think about, these are small industries in Scotland that are protected by these tariffs. Australia is able to produce huge quantities at a much lower cost, and Scotland cannot compete with that. So let's hear what Boris Johnson had to say to that.
Mr. Speaker, I know that the Right Honourable, but I'm delighted to see the shots of his croft, by the way, the humble representative of the crofting community. May I say that I don't think that...
Why does he always have to make a joke out of everything? It's all a joke to Boris Johnson.
That he does justice to crofters, to farmers across the country and in Scotland as well, Mr. Speaker, because I think he grossly underestimates their ability to do great things with our free trade deals.
What do you mean, do great things with our trade deals? What the hell are you talking about, Boris Johnson? This makes no sense. Do great things with the trade deals. This is about tariffs. Tariffs are there to protect these industries. You're talking about taking away these tariffs. That means that they will no longer be protected. What do you expect them to do?
To export Scottish beef around the world, Mr. Speaker. Why doesn't he believe in what the people of Scotland...
But this is about imports, Boris. Why are you talking about exports now?
Can do, Mr. Speaker. Why is he so frightened of free trade? I think there's a massive opportunity for Scotland and for the whole of the UK, and he should seize it and be proud of
it. Look at the fishing industry post-Brexit. What has happened to that in Scotland? Boris Johnson, why don't you go and meet with the fishing industry, the communities in the fishing industry in Scotland? Go and meet with them. Listen to their concerns. Of course, he won't do that because Boris Johnson has to be smuggled in under the cover of darkness when he goes to Scotland.
Going back to Ian Blackford. Ian?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. That was quite chilling. To try and treat something as serious as this in the way that the government and the Prime Minister has done is really quite pathetic. The fact that the Prime Minister couldn't give a straight answer will send a real chill across Scotland's farming communities. The UK government led the betrayal of Scottish fishing, and now the Tories are planning to throw our farmers and crofters under their Brexit bus. This morning, Martin Kennedy, President of the National Farmers Union Scotland, told ITV that farmers will feel seriously betrayed by these proposals. This deal would be the final nail in the coffin for many Scottish crofters and farmers. It will end a way of life that has endured for generations. Generations, Prime Minister. I know that many of the Prime Minister's Tory colleagues privately agree with me and want him to pull back from this deal. So will the Prime Minister finally listen, think again, and ditch a deal that will send our farmers down under?
Now, I think it's important that tariffs are a double-edged sword. Tariffs protect industries. If some industries are not viable, that's a different story. But Boris Johnson is not signing a trade deal to help Scotland. He's signing a trade deal to help New Zealand and Australia. In Australia, particularly Australia in this case.
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I really think, well, first of all, he's totally wrong about what he says about the fisheries, because, in fact, there are massive opportunities for fisheries for the whole of the UK as we take...
Really? You're still banging on about fish and how there are great opportunities? Go and say that. Stand in front of the fishermen at the ports in Scotland and tell them that there are great opportunities. No, you won't do that because you're afraid to do that.
Back control of our territorial waters, and that will be the same for Scotland and around the UK. And I think he is grossly underestimating the ability of the people of this country, the agricultural communities of this country, the farming industry, to make the most of free trade. This is a country that grew.
So you just have to believe in it, just like Brexit. If you believe enough in it, then it will succeed.
Successful and prosperous on free trade, on exporting around the world. Our food exports are second to none, Mr. Speaker. He should be proud of that. He should be celebrating that. And all he does, Mr. Speaker, is call for us to put up the drawbridge and go back into the EU to be run by Brussels. That's his manifesto, and I think the people of this country have decisively rejected it.
Well, of course, he has to invoke Brexit here. Is it possible for Boris Johnson not to attack the SNP on wanting to rejoin the European Union when it would fix a lot of the problems Scotland is facing at the moment? Boris Johnson and the Brexiteers have abandoned Scotland, abandoned the fishing industry. They're planning to throw the farming industry under a bus as well. And the response is, well, don't vote for the SNP because they want to fix this problem. They want to reset the damage. They want to undo the damage of Brexit. I think the Scottish people had voted recently in considerable numbers against Boris Johnson and his party. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot. I want to say a big thank you to all of my patrons. You ensure that this channel continues to exist. I'm eternally grateful for all of your support. If you join Patreon, you will receive instant access to our Discord server, where we have both audio and video chats. You can chat with me and other patrons, where we discuss important and non-important issues. Becoming a patron per month costs about the same as a large coffee, so why not check it out?